Red wavelength that forming galaxies in the beginning of the universe.
James Webb Space Telescope is upsetting the apple cart.
There are moments when the universe whispers something so strange, so utterly impossible, that even the most seasoned scientists fall silent. This is one of those moments. It began not with a roar, but with a flicker, a distant glimmer buried deep in the fabric of space, light born in a time when galaxies were still cradling themselves into existence. The James Webb Space Telescope, our newest eye on the cosmos, caught it first. A beam, not a flare, not a glitch. A beam, narrow and precise, emerging from the shadow of a black hole. A place where light, by all known laws, should never return. Black holes have always been the great devourers. Ruthless, silent, final. They swallow stars, twist time, and bury secrets in darkness. The very edge of a black hole, the event horizon, is supposed to be an unbreakable boundary. Cross it, and you vanish from the universe. Forever. That's what we believed. That's what we built entire theories upon. And then, Webb saw something come out. The silence that followed in the control rooms and labs around the world wasn't from confusion. It was awe, wonder laced with fear, because this wasn't supposed to happen. What the telescope had captured was like watching a ghost walk out of its own grave, and not just once. This wasn't a random outburst, some cosmic hiccup. The stream held steady, pulsed even, like it was alive, like it remembered. No one moved for a while. No one spoke. They were staring at the very image of impossibility, a focused jet of energy escaping from the very jaws of a black hole. Not from the swirling disk around it, not from magnetic eruptions near its poles, but from deep within the darkness itself. Something was coming through. What does it mean when reality breaks its own rules? Somewhere in a faraway galaxy, a monster older than light itself stirred, and for the briefest sliver of time, it reached across the void and showed us something new, something terrifying, something beautiful. This wasn't the beginning of an answer. It was the beginning of a question, one that would echo through physics, through astronomy, through every whispering corner of human curiosity. It asked us, what if black holes aren't what we think they are? What if they're not just cosmic endpoints, but thresholds? Scientists scrambled to study the data, to explain what Webb had seen. But no matter how they sliced the numbers, the image remained the same. That beam, piercing the darkness. It defied logic, yet there it was, steady and undeniable. There were signatures in the light, strange ones, showing patterns of radiation no one had ever measured before. Not random chaos, but a structure, as if something deep within the black hole was trying to speak. And suddenly the silence of the universe didn't feel so empty anymore. It felt like it had been holding its breath. Somewhere beyond time, beyond light, beyond everything we thought we understood. Something is happening. The beam that James Webb caught isn't just a scientific anomaly. It feels intentional. As if the black hole wasn't just reacting to its environment, but participating in it. As if, for the first time, we're not just observing the universe, but being observed right back. The scientists, of course, did what scientists do. They reached for models, for simulations, for equations. Maybe it's Hawking radiation, they said, but not the weak, jittery kind we've theorized. This beam was too structured, too deliberate. Maybe under just the right conditions. Unimaginable pressure, unimaginable heat, unimaginable gravity. Those virtual particles at the edge of the black hole weren't just appearing and vanishing. Maybe they were aligning. Maybe they were escaping. Maybe they were being sent. That possibility changed everything. For decades, we believed nothing could escape the pull of a black hole. But what if that belief was only half true? What if some small piece of what falls in, not matter, not light, but something deeper, could survive, could resist, could find a way out? The Webb image wasn't proof, but it was a clue, a whisper from the edge of nothing, saying there's more to the story. And what a story it might be, because deep inside that beam, that razor of light and energy, there were traces of something else, particles that didn't belong, particles we don't have names for. They weren't just photons or electrons. They were heavier, stranger, as if the black hole had reached into some forgotten drawer of the universe and pulled out pieces we didn't know existed. Some theorists spoke the word in hushed tones. Axions, ghost particles, candidates for the elusive dark matter that hides all around us. Maybe this was it, the first real glimpse of them, not in a collider, not in a lab, but escaping a black hole. That's when the fear set in. Not fear of destruction, but fear of understanding. Because if black holes can do this, if they can organize, emit, communicate, then everything we thought was final isn't. The laws of physics begin to stretch, twist, make room for possibilities we'd never allowed ourselves to imagine. Maybe inside that darkness, there isn't just chaos. Maybe there's a structure, maybe there's a logic, maybe there's something else entirely. Not a singularity, but a system. It was the beam's rhythm that did it, that haunting, steady pulse. Not random, not erratic, but measured, deliberate. As if the heart of that black hole wasn't dead, but beating. Not like a star or a planet, not with blood or fire, but with something deeper, a cycle, a memory, an intelligence, perhaps not conscious in the way we understand, but patterned and purposeful. The orientation of the beam confused even the most brilliant minds. It didn't match the spin axis of the black hole. It was tilted, slightly off, just enough to suggest that something inside was moving, shifting, creating its own path out. It wasn't being flung out by accident. It was emerging, as if following a map only the black hole could read. That misalignment, that subtle tilt, might be the most important clue of all, because it tells us the universe isn't just vast and strange. It's personal. It hides its secrets not just in distant galaxies or ancient starlight, but in the geometry of silence itself. The black hole didn't scream. It didn't explode. It simply opened a door we didn't know was there and left the light on. There's a strange feeling that settles over you when you realize the universe may not be finished telling its story. That maybe the darkness isn't just an ending, but a threshold. That's what this discovery has done. It's cracked open a part of the cosmos we thought was closed forever. The jet coming out of that black hole, that slender, unwavering thread of light, is more than just a scientific puzzle. It's a message in form, not in language. It speaks not with words, but with presence, with persistence, with the impossible. And maybe that's how the universe talks to us, not in noise, but in the quiet defiance of what we thought could never be. The implications stretch beyond black holes, beyond galaxies, beyond time. Because if energy, or even information, can find its way out of the very thing we thought devoured it all, then what else have we misunderstood? What else have we buried under the weight of certainty? All those theories we thought were settled suddenly feel like fragile glass in the face of something real, something ancient, something alive. The beam hasn't faded. It continues pulsing in time with a rhythm no human heart could ever match. It feels like it's part of something larger, like a heartbeat echoing through the bones of the universe. Some say it's a feedback loop. Energy spun so tightly it has no choice but to push back, to radiate out. Others whisper of wormholes and unseen dimensions, places where matter slips sideways instead of down. But none of that captures the feeling of it, the raw, unfiltered awe of seeing something reach out from the abyss. And maybe that's the real miracle. Not that it happened, but that we saw it. That after billions of years in all the cold and chaos of space, we happened to be watching at just the right time. That we built a telescope with eyes gentle enough to see through dust and distance, and strong enough to hold on to that thread of light, like a child catching a firefly in the night. It makes you wonder, what else is out there, waiting to be seen? Because now we know black holes aren't the end. They might be doors, they might be mirrors, they might even be beginnings. Maybe they don't just swallow what exists. Maybe they reshape it, reframe it, return it in a new form, changed, but still there. And that changes everything. It means the universe is less about silence and more about secrets. Secrets it's finally ready to share. We often think of space as cold and indifferent, but this beam, this whisper from the heart of darkness, it feels intimate, like the universe leaning in and saying, "You're not done yet. Keep looking." So we will. We'll point our instruments back into the void. We'll listen harder, watch longer, dream deeper. Because now, when we stare into the black, we know that something might be looking back, not with eyes, not with thought, but with light, steady, defiant, and impossibly real. And maybe, just maybe, it's been waiting for us.